students to desist from criminal activities culpable of destroying their future. Speaking with our correspondent, Alfreda Alarici, on the sidelines of the event, the national president of the Old Student Association, retired Captain Tam Ambie Barango, and the chairman of the National Working Committee, Iselaye Makri, called for improved funding in education as well as a compulsory boarding system for public secondary schools to curb crimes in the society.
Education is light. Nigeria today is in darkness because we have relegated education to the lowest level. That's why there's killing everywhere. Government budget 2%, 3%. Have you not heard that Nigeria is the most poorest country in the whole world? Because we are not educating our people. When you educate a nation, you have brought light upon that nation. So the government should commit every possible resources to educate the children of Rivers State.
Is to vote more money to education and make these schools boarding schools. Even if it will not be all, let it be one per local government. We were boarding before. My house was there, and the discipline was effective. But now you finish with the child at 2 p.m. He goes, he sees you again 8 a.m. tomorrow. The remaining 18 hours, what did he do with it? You don't know.
Some of the students who spoke to our correspondent called on the government to provide seats and books in their library.
Government should do, as for me, number one is most our seats they are not good, and most of our board are not good too. Most of our board are not good, and textbooks, we need textbooks from the government.
And the board. Our decks are very bad, and we lack a lot of board because before, I can remember when I was in JSS, we were using whiteboard marker, but when I get to this hall, we're still using whiteboard marker, but all of a sudden, the board got so because there are no doors to secure the board. So people from the village come inside, do what they want to do, and destroy some of the things in the school. And I wish we can have doors in all the classes, things will be safe. The library is okay, but we still need more books. We should make it concurrent.
Some teachers don't come regularly, and we don't have good decks and seats.
President Muhammadu Buhari has met with Nigerian security chiefs. The president presided over the meeting at the State House in Abuja. The discussion, which came one day to the end of the first term of President Buhari, was attended by the outgoing Minister of Defense, Mansour Danali. Service chiefs present include the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olunisakin, and the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. Others are the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, as well as the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu. You're listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news before the foreign scene. Stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
And you're still listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. Welcome back. And now to the rest of the news. The Independent National Electoral Commission has set in motion processes for convocation of national dialogue on electoral matters. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu announced these at the opening of the meeting between the INEC management team and the resident electoral commissioners of the 36 states and Federal Capital Territory. Yakubu, who stated that it was time to look at every area of election management in the country following the conclusion of the 2019 general elections, revealed that the Commission will be meeting with the various stakeholders on the various issues that needed to be straightened ahead of the 2023 general elections. On the foreign scene, the provincial governor has banned wooden passenger boats that are more than 5 years old from a lake in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where hundreds of people are feared to have drowned at the weekend. Some 45 people are known to have died when an overcrowded boat sank on Lake Mai in Dumbe, while about 200 remain missing. DR Congo sees frequent boat accidents on its waterways, which are a popular means of transport across the country. The latest accident took place on Saturday evening in Mai in Dumbe province in western DR Congo, involving a type of flat-bottomed wooden vessel known as a baleinier or whaler. Human rights campaigners have said Egyptian forces and militants in The Sinai might both be responsible for crimes against humanity. Human Rights Watch accuses the government of carrying out enforced disappearances, killings, torture, and other illegal acts. It also says militants who the government is fighting have kidnapped, tortured, and murdered hundreds of Sinai residents. The two sides have long been battling in the northern part of the peninsula. In sports, an Igosere High Court in Lagos has again renewed the arrest warrant it issued nearly 2 years and 11 months ago against ex-Super Eagles captain Augustine J.J. Okocha for alleged tax evasion. Justice Adedayo Akintoye made the renewal following Okocha's repeated failure to conclude an out-of-court settlement with the Lagos state government. Okocha has also failed to appear in court to answer to the charge. On entertainment, American rap star Chris Brown failed to appear at a hearing in Paris where he had been summoned to a face-to-face meeting with a French woman who has accused him of rape. The 24-year-old woman says Brown, along with his bodyguard and a friend of his, assaulted her in the luxury Mandarin Oriental Hotel on the 9th of January 15. Brown and his associates were released without charges in January after being held for questioning following allegations of aggravated rape and a drug offense. The woman, however, stood by the accusations and police summoned the singer to a confrontation with his accuser. Brown's lawyers have said he is innocent and they are considering a libel lawsuit. And now to end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. Governor Nyesom Wike has inaugurated a committee to investigate and audit the financial transactions of the 23 local government councils in Rivers State. The Rivers State Police Command has paraded over 30 suspected criminals for various crimes. President Muhammadu Buhari has met with security chiefs in Abuja. On the foreign scene, the provincial governor has banned wooden passenger boats that are more than 5 years old in the DR Congo. That was the news as edited by Chinedu Uwuna. For comments and enquiries, please call 0815-341-8657 or 0814-434-3502 or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. I am Kalada Kuru Batbo. Thank you for listening. Good evening and stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Good evening and welcome to another loaded, exciting edition of Soccer Nation, the best 15 minutes of football you can find anywhere on radio. It's your Superman in the world of sports, Wisdom Obina, and I'm set to fly you through the ever-exciting world of football. All right, we've got stories first from the local scene, the Under-20 World Cup, as much as the MPFL. And yes, we'll also be looking at Clemens Westerhoff's a little story coming in from that one. Of course, Europe is buzzing, even as Arsenal and Chelsea look forward to And I want to say a crucial time for them in the UEFA Europa League final, which will be coming up tomorrow. All right, let's kick off with the MPFL. Finally, a date has been decided for the Super 6 playoffs in the MPFL, and we've got the 6 teams all ready to actually take on themselves. Enugu Rangers and fierce rivals Enyimba, they will be up against each other in the opening fixture of the Nigeria Professional Football League Super 6 playoffs, due to commence in Lagos on Tuesday, June 4th at the Agege Stadium. Now, according to the draw conducted on Tuesday in Abuja, that's today, the two most decorated teams in the Nigerian League will start the round-robin tournament on June 4th with kickoff fixed for 3 p.m. local time. The other opening day fixtures pitch Ifeanyoba against Lobby Stars, while Kano Pillars will be up against Aqua United in the 7 p.m. game. As stated by the league management company, who are the organizers of the MPFL, there will be 3 games on each match day of the Super 6 tournament. The Super 6 will produce the MPFL champions for 2019 and will also confirm 3 of Nigeria's 4 representatives in next season's CAF Champions League. So, of course, on June 4th, that's next week Tuesday, Enyimba will come up against the Rangers International. FC Ifeanyoba will take on Lobby Stars, as much as Kano Pillars will be up against Aqua United. All right, still in the local scene, this time we'll be moving straight to the NFF, where we hear that the president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, and 4 other senior officials of the group were absent at the Federal High Court Abuja today at the first mention of the charge brought against them over their alleged complicity in the misappropriation of 8.4 million US dollars, of course 4 billion naira, belonging to the football body, talking about FIFA. The Special Presidential Investigation Panel for the Recovery of Public Property, SPIP, had earlier this month filed the 17-count charge marked against Pinnick and others, claiming, among others, that the money formed part of what was paid by the Federation Internationale de Football Association, talking about FIFA, to the NFF as appearance fees in the group stage of the Russia 2018 World Cup. So that's it. Pinnick in the charge, NFF, also in charge, NFF Secretary Sanusi Mohammed, First Vice President Sheyi Akinwumi, and Second Vice President Shehu Diko, and an executive member, Yusuf Fresh. When the case was called on Tuesday, the defendants were not in court. All right, to sort of a better story, where Nigeria, that's the same NFF, the federal government this time, not the NFF, yesterday fulfilled a 25-year pledge of a house in Abuja to former technical advisor of the Super Eagles, Clemens Westerhoff. At an impressive ceremony inside the conference room of the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing in Abuja, the Honorable Minister Babatunde Raji Fashola presented the letter of allocation of the house to Westerhoff. The Dutchman was head coach of the Super Eagles class of 1994 that won Nigeria's first ever FIFA World Cup ticket, Nigeria's first ever Africa Cup of Nations title on away ground, and reached the round of 16 at the FIFA World Cup in USA. So, sort of a good news, pledge fulfilled by the federal government, talking about their promise made to Clemens Westerhoff during that successful stint. I tell you, the most successful Nigerian side in years. I tell you, they were at some point 5th in the FIFA rankings. We move straight to the under-20s. Well, just in case you didn't get to see that one, Nigeria were beaten 2-0, by the United States. Now, the Flying Eagles coach, talking about Paul Aegbogun, has come out to explain why he decided to substitute Tom Dele Bashiru, who was substituted in the 31st minute of the side's 2-0 loss to the United States on Monday evening. It was a move that shocked everyone, and there had been speculation that the Man City midfielder suffered an injury, but Aegbogun has cleared the air by revealing it was a tactical decision. As Quoting him now, he said, "We started Tom in an advanced midfield role, almost like a second striker, so we could stop the US from building up the games from the back. However, they were much better and managed to bypass him and our early press a lot to get through." Asked if it was the reason for Dele Bashiru's replacement, Aibugun replied, "Not at all. He was not doing anything particularly poor. We just wanted to combat the way our opponents were playing in a different manner." Of course, the Flying Eagles will advance the last 16 in the event of a win against Ukraine in their final Group D match on Thursday, May 30th. I wish them all the best, I tell you, but it will really be a tough cracker against the boys from Ukraine. We'll move straight to Europe. All right, let's get first to Marseille, where we hear that former Chelsea and Tottenham manager, of course, it's now confirmed, Andre Villas-Boas has been appointed head coach of French club Marseille. Villas-Boas, who is 41 years of age, has signed a 2-year contract and will officially take charge of the League One side from 1st July. The Portuguese has been out of management since leaving Chinese Super League club Shanghai SIPG in 2017. All right, to Copa America quickly before we return back to Europe, where Neymar has been stripped of the Brazil captaincy for next month's Copa America and will be replaced by his Paris Saint-Germain teammate Dani Alves. The 27-year-old forward, given the role 8 months ago, but under pressure after recent disciplinary issues, was informed by manager Tite on Saturday. Alves, who is 36 years of age, will also lead the side in friendlies against Qatar and Honduras. Neymar has captained Brazil 4 times. Most recently, Alves has captained Brazil 4 times, most recently in a 1-0 win over Germany in March 2018. This month, French football authorities banned Neymar for 3 matches after he hit a fan following PSG's defeat by Rennes in the Coupe de France final. I tell you, a lot of issues around that man right there are talking about all popular Neymar, the Brazilian poster boy. I will move straight to a sort of a Barcelona story. A former Barcelona and Spain midfielder, Xavi Hernandez, he's been appointed head coach of Qatari club Al Said SC. The 39-year-old made more than 100 appearances for Al Said after retiring at the end of the 2018-2019 season, 3 years after joining the club. Xavi, a World Cup winner in 2010, won 8 La Liga titles and 4 Champions League trophies at Barcelona. Al Sadd said on Twitter that Xavi would replace Jesualdo Ferreira as manager at the start of next season. All right, Sergio Ramos, yes, we hear he has asked to leave Real Madrid on a free transfer. That's according to coach Fiorentino Perez. Real Madrid captain Ramos asked to leave the club to join a team in China on a free transfer. President Fiorentino Perez has revealed. Now, Perez says Ramos and his agent approached the club claiming they had received a very good offer from China, but says Madrid had refused the defender's request. This was said, and I quote, they, talking about Ramos's agent, Ramos and his agent came to see me in my office and told me they had a very good offer from China, but the league rules over there wouldn't permit them to pay the transfer fee, Perez told a radio station Onda Cero. Would he be leaving this season? We'll wait to see. I'm sure a lot of people would want to actually have Sergio Ramos right there, including the likes of course, Manchester United. Meanwhile, in AC Milan, manager Gennaro Gattuso and sporting director Leonardo have left AC Milan. This Serie A club confirmed on Tuesday. Gattuso has left by mutual agreement, while the club accepted fellow former Milan player Leonardo's resignation after a 5th place Serie A finish saw them narrowly miss out on a return to the Champions League. And I have someone who's joining me. Of course, I will be getting his opinions on some of these issues. Chidubem Joko. Chidubem, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Wisdom. Good evening.
All right, Chidubem, first, let me kick off first with our home front right here. We got some story earlier today, of course, not really a huge story about the NFF, the scandal issues, financial issues, with Pinnick, and we are just hearing now that some say the case has been withdrawn. We also hear that they refuse to appear in court. I'm sure you'll be able to give us more. What actually is going on? The issues, we've had this money for a while. It's been since the 2018 World Cup. What are they doing going forward?
Okay, what's actually happening is that the Director of Public Prosecution, talking about the DPP now, he has ordered that the case be withdrawn and that the case be handed over to him. So it's not basically that the case has been thrown out, but it's just an exchange of hands, because he feels that the people currently taking it up don't have the capacity to do so. So it's more like the case is exchanging hands now. So it's now in the coffers of the director of public prosecutions. So it's now in his powers to take on the case or to drop it. But then the arguments always go, will the case actually continue now that it's at his doorstep? Because there are talks underneath that Amaju Melvin Pinnick seems to be friends, or so to speak, in good terms with the director of public prosecution. So that's where the issue is coming up from. Will the case actually go on? But ordinarily, it's not that the case has been thrown out completely.
All right, Chidubem, still talking now. We saw the under-20 game yesterday. Nigeria did not do well at all. They got to lose 2-0 against the USA. Was it just a better side, that's the United States team, or did something else go wrong for the Flying Eagles?
Yeah, I think something went wrong, and it was the mentality going into the fixture. I think the Eagles, perhaps, they felt too confident in themselves after that 4-0 mauling of Qatar, and they felt it would have been easier going into the match against the USA, considering the fact that they themselves are talking about the Americans now. They lost to Ukraine the first match by 0-2. So the Falcons probably felt, the Flying Eagles rather, probably felt too confident in themselves, and tactically it was poor. They also had that problem going forward, getting the goals. It was, and you can also the team from America looked like a Liverpool, really, although a poor man's version of Liverpool anyways, but they came at the Eagles and they couldn't contain the team for the first 15 minutes. They practically struggled to keep hold of that team from the USA, and of course the midfield didn't have anybody combative enough to stop the ferociousness of the American team. So I think that was the biggest undoing of the team. I was pessimistic of their chances going into the World Cup because I'm not the biggest fan of Paul Aibogun, but then let's see how far they can go in the tournament.
All right, Chidubem, we've got to Ukraine, as you said, on Thursday. And if I'm to put you in, do you think we can actually beat Ukraine? I mean, looking at the fact that, yes, it doesn't work like that, but Ukraine did beat, USA did lose against Ukraine. They did beat the United States. And, of course, they did beat Qatar, even if it was more of a slim margin. But do you see Nigeria, with what you've seen them play, at least from the first game, can we beat Ukraine?
Before we came into the competition, it was believed that Henry Ofia, as well as Bashiru, the man from Man City,
Dele Bashiru,
it was believed that they would be the shining light in this tournament. But so far, they failed to bring up that particular brilliance we thought they would exude in this competition. And that's been the problem. There's no player that has been able to stand up, because we know, take it or leave it, that's how we thrive in this part of the world. We thrive on individual brilliance because the synergy is not always there. We don't have the time to prepare. And it's been lacking in this particular competition. We've not had any standout star. Apart from the first game where perhaps Ike Uti was somewhat of a standout player, going forward, it's not been the case. So I think that will be the problem going in against Ukraine. Ukraine for themselves, I think they've been the best team in that group, in our group, of course, against USA. Pretty much make that game look easy for themselves, because I think the USA as well are formidable opponents. Yes, George Weah can talk about him and all he has done for that team, but generally, Ukraine are the better team. They have good players. I mean, the Ukrainian league is a very good league, and at this stage of the tournament, the under-20s and of not the under-17s now, especially the under-20s, is a reflection of how good your domestic league is, because most times you take teams from your domestic league, and the Ukrainian league is a very good league, top-notch league. They have some very good clubs in that league. So I think against the Eagles, it's going to be a tough one for the Eagles to surmount, except, of course, like I said, these players that were expected to do brilliantly step up. Bashiru, Dele, and of course Henry Ofia. If you're able to step up, then I think we could as well get something from that game.
All right, still in Europe this time, Jurgen Klopp, as he says Liverpool's Champions League final defeat to Real Madrid made them stronger. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, he believes his current squad are incomparable with the team that lost to Real Madrid in last season's Champions League final. Liverpool suffered heartbreak in Kiev as Real won 3-1 to secure their third consecutive back-to-back European crown. The Reds regrouped to challenge Man City for the Premier League title this season, while also also reaching the Champions League final for the second consecutive year. Now, ahead of the final that will be coming up, our club side will look, of course, to go one better when they face Tottenham in Madrid on Saturday. And the German says his squad are continually spurred on by their painful loss at the Olympski Stadium. Now, Chidubim, I don't know if I will have you on this part of the show again. Now, with what you've seen Liverpool display this season, is this that team that would be able to bring back the European crown to Anfield?
The last time out, when they played against Madrid in the final last year, the major problems they had, first was Salah going out, and second was the Karius, who can't forget his blunders. Two of them that practically cost them the victory in that one. But this time around, those mistakes will not be there anymore. Salah most likely will be playing, except, of course, another disastrous happening goes on in that match. The keeper has been changed. We now have an Alisson who... Not we now. The team now has an Alisson who inspires confidence in that team. The defense as well was a problem last season, but Van Dijk has practically solved 60% of that problem. And so I think going into the match and the final, they are not the underdogs this time. They are the favorites, overwhelming favorites for this one. And I think the mental strength as well will be behind them this time around. So I think it's all for them to lose.
All right, Chidubem, let's quickly look at tomorrow. Of course, the Europa League final. Now, we heard earlier today that Kante might be missing that one, but Sarri has come out just this evening to say that N'Golo Kante has a 50-50 chance of being fit for Chelsea in the Europa League final. Of course, we know he's not his mainstay in defensive midfield, but of course, he's part of the first 11. How do you see that one panning out tomorrow, Chidubem?
Very key, because I believe always that Kante can be that joker when it comes to Chelsea, because he's the only tactical switch that Chelsea can afford at this point in time. I mean, just change him from attack to midfield, and then the tactics is totally different because we know what he can bring. Just in that defensive midfield, he's basically a rock. You hardly get past him. He's sweeping tackles and all that. So I think if Conte is injured and doesn't get to play, it might be very, very detrimental to Chelsea, because it could get to that point where all they will need is to lock up shop. And if Conte is not there to do that for them, then Arsenal might just be smiling to the bank.
All right, before we leave, let's just run through some transfer tidbits coming in right there. The gossip making the round. Gossips, as I will always say, nothing concrete here. Belgium's former Everton manager, Roberto Martinez, is Barcelona's first option if Ernesto Valverde does not continue in charge of the Spanish champions. Now, Netherlands manager Ronald Koeman, former Juventus boss Massimiliano Allegri, and Arsenal manager Unai Emery are among the replacements being considered also to replace Valverde. Meanwhile, Spain defender Sergio Ramos, 33, as I told you, has asked Real Madrid president Florentino Perez to let him leave the club for China. Meanwhile, of course, Perez has told Spanish radio that he's hopeful Chelsea's Belgian playmaker Eden Hazard, who's 28 years of age, will sign for the La Liga club this summer. Meanwhile, Chelsea boss Mauricio Sarri, we hear has agreed terms with Juventus that could earn him as much as £1.2 million a year. That's a rise from what, of course, he earns in Chelsea. Meanwhile, Barcelona winger Malcolm could be on his way out of the Catalan Giants 12 months after signing from Bordeaux. The 22-year-old Brazilian was linked with a loan switch to Tottenham and Everton in the January transfer window. Meanwhile, Juventus 25-year-old Argentina forward Paulo Dybala has confirmed he wants to remain with the Serie A champions next season, despite being linked with a move to Manchester United. And Arsenal have made contact with AC Milan over the transfer of 20-year-old Italian goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma. And lastly, Real Madrid must pay Paris Saint-Germain, the 27-year-old Neymar, £1.2 million a week in order to take him to the Bernabeu. And Chidubem, just before you leave your parting shots.
Well, I think we should just anticipate the game tomorrow, the Europa League finals. Very, very rib-cracking one that would be between Chelsea and Arsenal. Lots of things to lose and lots of things to gain. For Arsenal, definitely the manager will be looking to make it the fourth title when it comes to that division. And of course, Mauricio Sarri will be hoping to win his first title. Priceless.
All right, yes, Chidubem, I did the show with Chidubem Njoku. My name is Wisdom Obi. Now the show makes a return tomorrow, same time, same station. Until then, go out tonight and have for yourself a football field evening entertainment today. Recap is up next.
And on the beat is let me go, and I'm driving all the girls crazy, yo. And then and on the beat is let me go, and I'm driving all the girls crazy, yo. And then Talk radio.
Leaves and leave on. My bed is final. What's up, you wash? You like it, I want you to know that I love you so.
If you guys are ready to have a good time, let me hear y'all make some noise right now.
Yeah, that's right. You're listening to Entertainment
Recap
on Today 95.1 FM.
What you gonna do when you really don't want to dance? Yeah, listen to talk radio. Oh, well, it's Naomi Harry here on Today 95.1 FM again with the entertainment recap. Yes. I know you're vibing to this drum. I know. Anyway, this is the show where I give you all the interesting entertainment stories, fill you in on stuff that has been happening, keep you updated. And I know that sometimes you just might not have the time to find all of these stories and come across them on social media. That's what I'm here for. Oh, yes. Now, so I've got a couple of stories. But before I do that, I'm going to ask you a question, and then you can call in and give me my answers. So it's not like now I made it sound like quiz. No, it's not. Now my question is: yesterday I asked who you're going to nominate for president, vice president, and senate president from the music industry. Today I am asking if we were all given an ultimatum if we're all ordered to get tattoos of a Nigerian musician. Now, everybody has to get a tattoo of a Nigerian musician on any part of their body of their choice. What tattoo would you get? Whose face are you gonna put on your body? What Nigerian artist do you like enough to tattoo their faces on your body? If you were forced to make that decision, yeah. So that's the question. So what Nigerian music artist is it going to be? What Nigerian singer is it going to be? Let me know. Anyway, so moving to the biggest story of the night. Yes, Simisola. Simio. So Adekele Gold's wife, Simi, yes, the couple that has that drove us mad and ran off to get married. Well, Simi posted a picture of herself to celebrate Children's Day, and in the picture she was flaunting a baby bump. Yeah, you heard it right. Simi is pregnant. Yeah, so I'm really, really happy. Like, this is so great. So, Simi is pregnant. This happened so quickly. I am so excited. It feels like we're going to have like a music industry baby. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Anyway, So before I open the phone lines, I'm going to give you a couple of more stories. Yeah, actress Bidemi Kosoko. Now she just welcomed her first child, and it's a baby boy. Congratulations! Yeah. So many celebrations, right? And also, speaking of celebrations, Genevieve Naji had a birthday party. Yes, she turned 40. She actually turned 40 on the 3rd of May. But then, you know how the boss ladies can be too busy for a party. And so she decided to have a post-birthday party, and it was really, really nice. The pictures were great. They had a great cake. Rita Dominic was there. The band was there. Stephanie Okereke was there. I don't know if you can imagine what the pictures looked like. Like, it make you happy. Like, oh, all our old girls. Uche Jumbo was there as well. Yes. Iniedo was also there. Osasi Godara and Chigo. Speaking of more birthday parties, our ex-governor of River State, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, had a birthday party. Yes, and what made this birthday party special to me was the birthday cake. It was crazy. It was beautiful. I loved it. And the birthday cake was made by Kriti Bakehouse. Yes, Instagram and Twitter, Kriti Bakehouse. I really loved it. She's got great stuff that she does, and it was just a beautiful cake, you know, to spice up the occasion. What's a birthday without a cake? Well, speaking of more celebrations, Super Eagles midfielder Wilfred Ndidi, he had his wedding on Saturday. Yes, he married his longtime lover, Dinma. And it was such a beautiful wedding. All the pictures were so beautiful. They were so amazing. I love them. And then it just screamed of happiness and love and, you know, beautiful things. So great. And so, because I have such little time, I'm going to open the phone lines right now. Now, the numbers to call are 0817 0000951. That number again is 0817 0000951. Or you can call 0810 951 0951. That number is 0810 951 0951. Or you can send a text message to 0701 933 9962. Sorry, that number is 0701 933 9962. Which celebrity are you going to tattoo on your body? Hello, 95.1.
Yeah, Promise.
Hello, Promise.
Yeah, Promise.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, so I'm all right. I was asking now. So if you had to get a picture of a celebrity tattooed on your body, which celebrity would it be?
I suppose speak Tuesday, but let me go for Paul. I love the guy.
You who?
Yeah, good boy, Paul.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sure since you love him so much, I'm sure it broke your heart that he's no longer with his brother.
Yeah, well, that one is good.
Are you aware that his brother is suing him?
I'm aware. That one is a good boy. You know, he's rude. So I don't like that one. I don't like Paul.
Anyway, so thank you so much for calling. Thank you.
Okay.
Rather interesting. Paul is your favorite without Peter. Hello?
Hello.
95.1, what's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, we lost that one. Anyway, do call me back. I have just a couple of minutes. The numbers to call 0817 0000951. The number again is 0817 0000951. Or you can call 0810-951-0951. 0810-951-0951. Yes, so more stories. And then you call me and tell me what celebrity can you tattoo their face on your body if you had to? If you were forced to pick a celebrity, who would it be? Hello? Hello, 95.1.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm great. I'm calling you from Port Harcourt.
Oh, all right. You have to speak up a little bit, just a little bit. So what celebrity would it be? Who are you picking?
Okay, it's the Olamide.
Olamide. You really like Olamide. Why is Olamide your favorite?
I just love his kind of music.
You love his kind of music?
Yeah.
Okay, that's so cool. That's really nice. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Olamide, we've had someone say rude boy. Another has said Olamide. Yeah, so if you were picking, who would it be? Anyway, so on to more stories before more calls come in. Yeah, so Sophia Richie, the daughter of Lionel Richie, now dating Scott Disick. Scott Disick used to be the partner of Kourtney Kardashian. Yes, we're going international. Kourtney Kardashian's baby daddy. You know, they never really got married. Yeah, so they had a birthday party. It's been rumored that they had bad blood between them. That's Sophia Richie and Kourtney Kardashian, but then Kourtney's beyond that. Let me take this call here. Hello? Hello, 95.1?
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Kendo.
I didn't hear that.
Kendo.
All right. So how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, so tell me, if you were to pick a celebrity, who would it be?
Papi Chulo.
Papi Chulo?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, nice. You're so unconventional. That's so cool.
That's my man.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you so much for calling. Oh, that's rather interesting. Papi Chulo. You callers are so unconventional. I didn't expect such replies. I expected somebody to say Davido and another person say Whiskey and, the conventional stuff. Yeah, my unique listeners. So I was telling you about Sophia Richie and Kourtney Kardashian. Yes, it's expected that new girlfriend comes into the picture and baby mama gets upset, but then that's not it right now. So Scott Disick had a birthday party and Sophia Richie decided to prove to the rest of us that there's no beef between the both of them, and she posted videos and pictures of them having so much fun. And you just you have to give them credit for it. They're making it work. Okay, so based on Children's Day, so many celebrities posted pictures of themselves and their children. Even Uche Jumbo posted a picture of herself and her son. He was showing her a lot of love and giving her a peck on the cheek. So many other celebrities kept on posting. Yeah, so T-Bills decided to shade Awatiwa. He threw shade on his message, his Children's Day message for his baby boy. Yeah. And so he posted, "True love is unconditional. Yes, Daddy, let me put my hat on like yours too." And he said, "I miss my little man. I lived that life. No amount of toys and designer clothes can replace a father." Ooh. #facts. Yes, so now, we've been seeing Tiwa Savage and a baby boy, going on a private jet, strolling around looking good. Now, he has said no amount of designer clothes or luxury can replace a father, Tiwa Savage. He went on to say, "Nothing can separate our love, my mini man. Nothing and no one. You are my seed and they know it too, my prince. #my dude." Yeah. Rather interesting, right? Okay, so just one sad story. An actress lost her mother. Yes, Kosi Ojiako. Yes, she lost her mother. It is so sad. Yeah, it's really, really sad. That's the only sad story I'm giving you tonight. Yes, it's so sad how she lost her mom and she posted the picture of her. Yeah, she said, "Mom, what God has joined together, not even death can put asunder. Mom and dad finally together. Rest in peace." Yeah, so her mom has died, making her an orphan. It's such a frightening thing to think one day your both parents will probably leave you, and then you have to be a parent, and then no parents for you. Funny, life is so funny. Okay, so go ahead to call me. I'm almost out of time now, and I'll have to go. So Buchi can come in and give you some, lovely area talk. Area talk is one of my favorite shows, actually. Ironically. Anyway, so so the numbers to call are 0817 0000951. That number again is 0817 0000951. Or you can call 0810-951-0951. And those are the numbers to call. Call in. Let me know. If you were to get a tattoo, if you were forced to get a tattoo of one Nigerian celebrity, yes, it's a face of a Nigerian celebrity on your body, whose face would it be? Yeah, who would it be? Let me answer that question before I go. I don't know actually. But I think if I was going to stick with the tattoos, it has to be Two-Face. Now I know. Yesterday I voted Two-Face president, and today I'm saying I'll tattoo his face on my. It's not as extreme as that. I just like the guy. The guy is just amazing. Great music, great history, doing great, and he's done a lot for our music industry. I think Tuaba is king. So my answer is Tubaba. So I'll let you enjoy this jam, and just before Buchi comes in for the news, so you have 2 minutes to enjoy this jam. Yeah, so have a lovely evening. I'm still going to be coming on for the Nostalgia Drive and Lovey Dovey later tonight, so stay tuned to Today 95.1fm. We've got great programs, I promise you, great programs. And yes, it's been Naomi Harry on the Entertainment Recap. I hope you feel, filled in. Exactly. I hope now you know all that is happening, because I filled you in. There's nothing more to tell. Thank you so much for listening.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Baby, cool up one time, Muddy Gally don't love me, I blem. I blem. Push a blem. I blem. Push a blem. Show me what you got. I blem. Show me what you got. I blem. All my girls see bad. I blem, BSC to Cali. I blem, one yo oh, Osha blem, baby girl you got it. I blem, ooh yo oh, Osha blem, baby girl you got it. Cool up, you're my sunshine, yeah.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
apologies. It's 3 minutes past the hour of 7, and Naomi just hyped the program. Naomi, thank you very much. I'm sure you can listen. You're listening. My name is Buchira Fwa, and it is time for Area Talk here on Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. And of course, 1,000,001 things have been going on and happening in your area, and it's time for you to call in and share your eyewitness reports on what's been going on in your area. That's basically what we do here on Area Talk. We talk about things happening. You bring the news, you bring the stories, and we all get to talk about it. Now, recently, there's this phenomenon that's been going on in the States. Is it just River State? I don't know if it's peculiar to the state. But I recall some months back, I got some report like that from MOA, and over the weekend, I think something similar happened at Ubima. Now, there's this trend of, well, we're cultists for a while. We clash, we kill, we cut heads, we burn people, we shoot guns, and the rest of it. And then at a particular point in time, someone comes in and mediates between the two cult groups. And then all of a sudden, okay, we're making peace. We are cool, we're calm, we're good with each other. Let bygones be bygones, and let that's all. That's it. So my question now is, are we all about just making peace, or let the law take its course, let justice be served? Because it feels like people are more of, oh, we just want peace, and nobody's talking about justice. You putting it that, well, if they want to reconcile, good and fine. And how about all those that lost their lives in the process? How about all the crimes they've committed? Now, someone said, if you truly are repentant of your sin, you would show remorse, you would give out your weapons, you might even decide to turn yourself in. But since you're turning yourself in, probably your punishment is going to be minimal compared to them apprehending you like that, things like that. But then these days, what we get to see is, well, we are settled and we're good. And it feels like it's done on their own terms. We're good, we're settled for now. But how long will that last? And then on the other hand, there are still other persons out there, probably cultists as well. And they feel like, okay, let's do what we have to do. Probably at the end of the day, we just reconcile. And when we reconcile, we'll plead on government to create a job for us, to bring job opportunities. Probably that's why we're doing whatever it is we're doing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do we need peace, or we need justice and peace? Isn't it justice? When justice is being served, it actually cautions other persons, so they actually maintain peace and order in the society, instead of us placing it in their hands and making it look like peace and everything we are depends on whatever decision they have to make. It's just a question, just a statement. I'm not insinuating anything, but I would love to get your thoughts on that one, because it's something that's been occurring on and on here in River State. I'd love to get your earnest thoughts on that. Are we wanting peace at the detriment of justice, or we want justice as so peace can always prevail at every point in time? Meanwhile, I'm sure most of you haven't heard about this, but there's something actually going on, and I believe it will really, really interest you. So normally Commonwealth, they see youth as people between 15 to 29, and then the African Youth Charter defines youth as individuals between 15 to 35. Then for activities of the international or at a regional level, the UN international level, this is for the UN now, such as the African Youth Forum. UNESCO uses the United Nations Universal Definition, but the UN, for statistical consistency across regions, defines youth as those persons between the age of 15 and 24. Now, before now in Nigeria, we used to be 18 to 35. But I don't know if you've heard of the recent change. It's now been moved from 15 to 29. That's the current definition of youth in Nigeria. So we have a guest in the studio. He's Obina Ebogidi. I got that right. Yeah, I'll just pray and I do. We have Obina Ebogidi. He's from the state focal point, River State, Yaga. He is the state focal point for River State from Yaga,
Africa.
Yeah, Yaga, Africa. And this policy that was just put in place, I think I'll need to give you directly from this report according to the Punch. According to this report, the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development on May 24, 2019, they launched the revised National Youth Policy 2019 with the youth stakeholders in Akure, Ondo State. So the review, which was long overdue, the 2009 policy states that it should be reviewed periodically, that's every 5 years, was due for review in 2014. However, due to various challenges, the policy review process was not completed till 2019. That's an additional 5 years after the last review was to have taken place. So now in 2019, policy forward, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development in person of Solomon Dalong quickly points out that a major thrust of the current review is regarding the age bracket for the classification of youth from existing grading of 18 to 35 years to 15 to 29 years. So the review is informed by the practical empirical analysis and the need to promote the appropriate targeting of desired beneficiaries of intervention programs for the youth rather than adults masquerading themselves as youth. So they said. So now, as part of the revision of the National Youth Policy, the ministry held regional consultations, which I didn't get to hear about that, unfortunately. But they said they organized it. I don't know if other persons did. You did, right?
I didn't.
You didn't too?
No.
Okay. It seems like most of us didn't get wind of that review. But they said the ministry held regional consultations with youth groups and stakeholders supported by the United Nations Population Fund. So the permanent secretary of the ministry acknowledged the UNFPA for its encouragement and support for the recruitment of 2 notable consultants. But moving on, the part that really gets the thought of many Nigerians and many groups regards this change. This age classification sets Nigeria apart from other countries in the continent that aligns with the age classification in the African Youth Charter of 18 to 35 years. So questions have been raised over the consultation process that led to the review of the policy, especially with regards to the age classification. That aside, the ministry has a lot of work to do in disseminating the policy in order to ensure their acceptance and ownership, and to also ensure the implementation of the policy using strong monitoring and evaluation mechanisms. One of the criticisms that have been leveled at the ministry is a lack of monitoring and evaluation mechanism. That aside, that's not a point of discussion tonight. So the new age classification has no doubt raised a lot of eyebrows and questions. In understanding the new age classification, it is important to note that the UN for Statistical Consistency across regions defines youth as those. Okay, I think I made mention of that earlier. I'm trying to get to a particular point that caught my attention. The new age classification for Nigerian youth has raised questions, of course. Firstly, young people between the age of 30 and 35 years have been disenfranchised from the youth constituency and wonder which classification they currently fall under. I think I'll start with that. So for those of us that are 30 to 35, since the new age, the youth age is 15 to 29, those of us from 30 to 35, where exactly do we fall under?
Well, the ministry will also have to come out to plainly
explain that.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand Yaga, they're part of those that actually fought for the not too young to run
Not
bill.
part, we drove it. It was our vision.
Okay, so that's as at last year. And now the age of 15 to 29. For presidency, I believe it's currently
35. It's reduced to 35 from 40.
So that means youth cannot run for presidency.
Yes, with this new policy, people who run for presidency cannot be youths. People who would go for governorship, who contest for the positions of Senate, cannot also be youths. But youths can now also contest.
But that was part of what you fought for. The group fought for as a last year.
I think what we fought for is still falls within this bracket. In fact, perhaps maybe a posterity just blessed us, because what we fought for was for the age bracket to reduce from 30 to 25 for House of Reps.
Okay.
And then House of Assembly also from 30 to 25. So this new age classification still accommodates it.
So now it means the new age classification, it really would affect 1,000,001 things actually, because I believe those going for NYC would also be affected, those running for political positions or those already, and there are even some members of your group that are above like 30, 35. What happens to them now?
My group is not. It's not a government arrangement.
Yeah,
it's an NGO. It's a civil society.
I know, but for the National Youth body, I believe they
like
have
National
those,
Youth. That's like a Nigerian national.
Yes.
Okay.
What happens?
It's supposed to affect it. In fact, I think that is the major thrust of this policy. You cited that article. That article was actually written by the head of a youth department from Yaga Africa. The Punch only used it today. I also identified something he said that the ministry, needed to target desired beneficiaries of their interventions, and then to ensure that adults who masquerade as youths no longer do that.
So does it mean those that are above 29 are actually adults?
Well, that is not even just the case. Before now, we've seen situations where persons who are over, even close to 50,
are parading themselves.
They parade themselves as youth. They deny
what is being put in place to checkmate these things?
That again
because
is a problem.
Even if we bring it down to 29 and they still want to bring their ages down to that age to suit in, they still can't. So what's being put in place?
I want to believe that the ministry would be a lot more serious this time around, because I know we talked briefly before now. One of the challenges we've had about the policy, this is not the first policy, and as a matter of fact, the ministry should have told us what was achieved with the last policy of 2009. What has been happening before now is because there has not been connections between the successive governments.
Okay.
So the government that is in power when the policy it's launched, it tries to do something, and another government takes over and somehow abandons it. So that has been the challenge, and that's why implementation also has been sort of poor.
Okay.
So if this is, it's interesting that this is a government that is continuing. That is, if the court doesn't throw them out, it's a government that is continuing. If it happens that they remain, we believe that somehow, with mounted pressure, they will be able to implement certain things.
So I believe this would also affect the age for voting.
Yes, we expect that it should affect. It's a youth policy. So if you're saying youths are those that are from
15 to 29,
yes, it means that those that are from 15, they should be
can get a voter's card and cast their vote.
Not just that, they have come to some sort of a cognitive maturity. They may be able to, or they should be able to reason and decide.
That's the point. Now, let me ask you personally, as an individual, do you think, especially here in Nigeria, do you think a 15-year-old will be able to determine clearly what to do, what not to do, or has... because what they're painting it now is like a 15-year-old is an adult and is old enough to determine some things.
Necessarily, it's not like they're painting him as an adult, because
as long as you're already classifying them as youth, of course they are mini adults.
They are mini adults. It depends on the situation. We have 20-year-olds, we have 25-year-olds who still can't think for themselves. We also have 15-year-olds who are very, very smart, who are very
vibrant.
Mature.
Of course we do.
I think the recent JAMB result that was released, I think the highest scorer there, the guy is around 15 years. The guy that's just been given scholarship by Ghanaian University.
Yes.
Yes, he's 15. And in that exam, there are some persons who were over 20-something years that participated in that exam.
I recall there's a particular point in time where someone scored real good, but his age deterred him from getting access to university. So it means all these things are now.
We expect. So that's the problem. The ministry has not really come out fully to explain. This article, like I told you, was from Yaga.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to come out to explain holistically what this new policy means for Nigeria. They need to engage groups.
Based on what you're saying now, it means Yaga, your group, is not even aware.
What? We won't say we are not aware now because we were invited for the launch.
For the launch, but
yes,
not for.
But the process of articulation and all that, we are surprised when they said they involved, like Farouk said in the article, they involved groups, they did this, they are stakeholders. So who are the people who actually sat? At what point were these guys meeting? Because they said they had about 3 roundtable meetings, and even before they started.
And this should have included the federal government, right?
It is the federal government's policy for youth.
Okay.
The Ministry of Youth drives this.
Mm-hmm.
The Minister of Youth, Solomon Lalong, is the one that's sat over this. So it's their policy, document, which they intend to use to drive youth projects, programs, and sell themselves to the youth community. So it's government too.
The Yaga wasn't carried along.
Not Yaga wasn't carried along. We just feel
because
that
you clearly stated earlier that you guys were actually on the forefront of trying to get this not too young to run bill. So if you are at the forefront, I believe you are in the forefront of what pertains youth, basically in Nigeria.
We are not at the forefront.
Yeah, you'd love to.
We are part of those. We have the Youth Council. Organs that are funded by the government, they ought to be in the forefront. We, from the civil society angle, we participate. We simply make contributions from the civil society angle. So those who are supposed to actually drive this is at the Youth Council. Now, the level of engagements they made is what we don't understand. And it's interesting, the Youth Council has also not come up with a statement. And it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Because this new policy calls into question even the leadership. Who are those people who are supposed to now lead the Youth Council? It means
because it really would be
things will have
those
to change.
that are 30, 35.
They're not supposed to be part of it.
Okay.
And if you have to implement this immediately, it means that a lot of them will have to
drop off. Okay.
So these are the issues.
All right, a whole lot of issues there, but would love to hear from you. Most importantly, it's an eyewitness report show, so you have to call in and tell us what is happening in your community. There's so many parts of the East-West Road, MOR East-West Road, have been complaining of electricity. I would love to hear if there's been any development, because I heard they worked on somewhere around Alaka here, I believe First Mechanic around that area. I heard they worked on their lights today. But if there was anything done on yours, I'd love to hear that as well. Those from Alu Choba. Has there been any improvements in your electricity supply? Meanwhile, I would also love to hear from you. If you're in traffic, call in and let's know where exactly the traffic is so you can save a soul. Being in traffic is something I believe 1,000,001 of us would not want to be a part of. So if you're in traffic, please call in and share with us where exactly it is. Tell us what's the situation of things in your community. If you feel the presence of government or not, let's hear from you. Or you could also call in to react to the issues we've been talking of here. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Comrade UNS from Osiamu in Onoya. Let me go straight to the issue of primary school I was talking about yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
Putin, I am begging all well-meaning citizens to respond to education, and most importantly, community secondary school Osiamu. There is no care, the environment is so unsafe. Everywhere, there is no sign of a learning environment there. And I'm begging the governor to please, education is important. We should be fighting crime now. These uneducated children are the criminals of tomorrow. Look at what is happening today. We are using criminality as a source of getting jobs, as a source of getting settlement from government. I am calling on them to start now. These are the next 17 years old children. In the next 10.
Comrade Ayo, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah, I just got you back.
Yes, I am saying that we cannot neglect children and keep on wasting money on security. Keep on wasting money on fighting courtesies. These things start when they are small. And when they get big, government starts having problems. We don't have money to build infrastructure because of all this. Please, let us prioritize education.
All right, comrade. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much for calling in. Whatever your eyewitness report is, let's hear from you. Meanwhile, the River State Governor Nyesom Wike has inaugurated the committee to investigate and audit the financial transaction of 23 local government councils from May 2018 to May 2019. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello, hi woman, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, my name is Victor.
Victor, where are you calling me from?
I'm calling you from Homo.
All right, Victor, go ahead.
Yes, I'm my area talk. My area talk is about the president of
It's about what? Do you mind calling me back?
No, there's no way I can get back.
Oh, you need to move away from where you are so I can hear you clearly.
So you can hear me right now.
Okay, it's a bit better.
I said my own area talk is about the dredging of the Onega River, the Orashi.
Okay, all right.
Yes. We really need the because I don't believe in federal government of Nigeria at all. I don't even know about them. I'm calling on River State government because if you check, in Nigeria today, we are the highest producing oil and gas city in Nigeria. So we deserve every development in our region. We need federal or whatever. Let them come and dredge our river. Dredge our river for us so that our water will be flowing. Because as I'm talking to you, there is a smaller river that we call Akmu, Bunusia, and all the rest. This river has blocks. Those rivers, they link to the Rashi. And before, when the thing has not blocked, people used to fetch water from there and drink. It was a very neat and clean, potable water. But right now, as I'm speaking with you, grass has covered it. And it is an area that produces the 75% of the resources of this so-called Nigeria. They should come and look into our situation. I am shouting now for the so-called Buhari to hear it and send equipment to dredge that river with immediate effect. That's what we need. And we need some, in fact, I don't just need to come. Let me just start by that dredging. They should dredge that river and link it up to Orashi and dredge Orashi to Mbioma so that those water will be flowing. Please, we are about to enter the rainy season and they are predicted concerning the flood is about coming in this rainy season. So please, they should do well in dredging that river fastly.
All right, thank you very much for your report there. Meanwhile, the River State Police Command has promised to beef up security in and around the premises of Community Secondary School Ruko to avoid a repeat of what happened in the school last week. I saw this and the question popped up. I think I've asked that question severally here on Area Talk. What's been done regards security of pupils or students that attend secondary and primary school around? We talked about it on a different case, but now coming back to what happened in Oruwoko Community Secondary School and now they're beefing up security there. Is that the only place that needs security? How about other parts of the state, other secondary schools, other government schools in the state? Don't they need security persons there? I recall the story from those states where students were actually fighting. Some cult guys were walking their own way, and students that are allegedly part of, that are allegedly part of some cult group were throwing stones at them and the rest of it. It brings me back to the same security in our secondary schools. We've been talking about security in every part. But then how about for those in schools? How about for the little children? You know how government schools are. You know how parents just send off their children, how lackadaisical some parents are with their kids. So what is being done to secure these children while still in school? Is it just for Oro Woruko Community School because of what happened last week? How about other places? You don't know what might happen next. It's Area Talk. Let's hear from you. An Eyewitness Report show what is happening in your community, what is going on. And would also love to get your thoughts on the issue of the change in age classification from 18 to 35, now 15 to 29, how it affects both those going for NYSC and those voting and different sectors, even the youth, the national youth group currently, how it affects each and every one of us. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. The numbers are 0817-0000951 or 0810-951-0951. And don't forget to send an SMS or a WhatsApp message to the number 0701 9339962. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Rama.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yes, I walk.
Walk do. How your side?
No, but we are hard for what I'm telling you the same the other day. This our East Road where boy is the court. Boy is happy well for the woman who say let them cut that road when the governor say that they will let them cut the road. Okay. And instead of them to use the caterpillar, the woman say no, let them use the boy do the work. So the whole boy is happy for the woman to give us that they bring that idea to cut it. So we are happy well because so many of them have benefit. Many of them they have feel fine. These are children when they do the work. And the one we see them OT, I'm telling you, we see them the work. So we thank the woman and the chairman of the government.
How long is this bush clearing taking? Because since when I think this started, you gave these reports when they were suspended. The local government chairmen were suspended. So yeah, now they're still clearing.
From Melele to Choba, that bridge. And then Ripemo and Choba. So they are cutting it in every day. Instead of the illegal caterpillar. So the illegal caterpillar. So boys now, because they use that way to stop when they cut the thing. So they are cutting it pole to pole. You know, between make boys enjoy that they have seen this walk. You know, that kind of a thing.
Okay.
The boy now is happy.
All right.
So they are cutting it in but they never save me.
I don't hear you now. I hear you.
Yes, so we are happy. So this is this is our road. I know, and I tell you, because we can promise me to walk our road. Because me I see for dream. The man tell me that this around for this second day or so you walk the road. So I want to remember him that road is free. Let him yeah, because tomorrow we go there and fly him. Let him the first road, the first project. When you do for this river state, let him be that road. Let him be that road. Every other for that road.
Okay.
So even our school, no send them, no teacher, nobody. He's talking about that school again. Let them all people so that they will go back and teach for that school. So that children will come back because children don't see anybody to teach them. Nothing they happen about the school. Nothing. So you know we don't know what to do about the school. Even I'm telling you that our life, also our life, the life for what I am hearing because I travel the other day. So they tell me that the energy want to bring for and put the light at the room. So I beg them, let them try. So that we feel some time now, we will be like because people from Port are enjoying now, we would have never here for it. So I beg them to fasten the work so that we will see the light. We believe me. We believe them. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Iwaburama, for calling in and sharing your thoughts. It's always interesting and it's always a pleasure to hear from you. I've never seen someone that believes so much in his dream more than Iwaburama. He said he saw the governor in his dream and they had a discussion. So he's calling on the governor to remember their discussion. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, Iwaburama. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm calling from Amigo.
Okay, what's the name,
I really take.
Okay.
Yeah, I really commend the work you people are doing. Okay. My concern is this Obiwali Road. The manner at which this taxi, especially these taxi drivers, they drive against traffic. Please, the police should do something about it, or they should put traffic orders there. So
you said Obiwali Road.
That route. Obiwali, yes.
Okay.
In the morning, if you're going out of Obiwali, you cannot go out because you'll be stuck in the traffic, which is too bad. They should try and caution these taxi drivers that are parking at that roundabout, that Obiwali roundabout. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for calling in. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah. My is it a Nigeria info?
95.1 FM today. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Good evening, this is Ezudo.
All right, welcome.
Calling from Choba.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, please, as I still say that at least I know that police is trying, as I told you. They are really trying. They are holding at least 3 of my arm boys, 3 boys from Choba here. They should use one of the boys. There's one particular one they are holding. They should use that one to come and mop up arms. Because yesterday they rob somewhere here in Cuba. They normally, the remaining arms here, they normally use that every evening, every night. They used to, maybe if your door is open, not too late, maybe around 7, 8, they'll enter there as if they bring out their arms to rob. So if police will hold one of that boys.
Are they robbing homes or businesses?
Before normally now if your door is open, maybe you're a student, you just open your door, maybe it's not too late. They will just come inside there and rob you. Before you know, they show you come. Yeah, that's what they do now. So if police will come and mop Cuba, they will get a lot of arms.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for that report from Choba community, still on the issue of insecurity. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Uchi, good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Yes, my name is Mr. Donny Jim Joy from Buguma.
All right, good to have you on the program.
Yes. My area report is this. Please, I want to beg our serious governor. I tell them serious governor. Hello?
I can hear you.
I want to beg our serious governor to look at M1 Buguma Tegema Road together with that Efoko Road. We don't know what is happening. Armed robbers are disturbing us every day. The governor just keep quiet. Is he hating the Calabari people? I don't know. So please, I am using this medium to transmit to him directly that he should look at that Buguma Tegema Road crossing Efoko. So
you said there's always they rob there every day.
Rob there steady every day. Now my driver, I'm on the road now. I'm waiting to go. Security, they are trying their best, but they should not just clear the road. They should dualize that thing. I think that road needs to be double carriageway. Look at that road now. The whole Calabari Kingdom will come and suffer this rubbish. It's just funny. Please, I am begging you, Governor, our father, please do it for us. We are suffering. We are suffering. Armed robbers are disturbing us every day. Please.
Okay.
That is my area report. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much. I don't know if you've heard of the story of the reports that the Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade, has appointed, initially in his first tenure, he appointed 80,000 people as his special advisor and personal assistants. Well, he came out to give the reason why he did that. So, according to the Daily Trust, speaking in Calabar at the pre-inaugural event for his second term, Ayade said the gesture ensured that every household in all parts of the state did not go to sleep with empty stomach. So that's why he appointed over 8,000 people as a special advisor and personal assistant during his first tenure. I quote his words now. I committed myself by expanding government to ensure that at least a member of each family was represented in my government to earn salary, he said. Interesting. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Good evening, my sister.
Good evening to you.
My name is Michael from Port Harcourt.
Michael, good to have you on the program.
Yes, actually, my eyewitness goes like this. You know this NTA Moaba to Kozoba Road? Hold up is from Obirikwere, the cornerstone.
Jesus.
That cornerstone. Police, Ozoba Police Division, they are there collecting money. As I'm talking to you now, the hold up, you will spend 1 hour before you reach Ozoba.
As in
I'm talking to you now. This Ozoba police station, they are there causing a very big hold up. Tomorrow, Piaru, Nado money will come up to be telling us rubbish that they don't collect, that we should call phone number, that we should do this. They are there now causing hold up. I'm not happy.
Well, I would. I don't know. I think it just got to my brain lately. But please, whoever he made a statement doesn't make it rubbish if you're saying something else. So I'll take exception to what you said earlier. I didn't get to pass the information across to you on time. Please, when you're calling in, be civil about whatever it is you're saying. As much as he's giving his statement and he's giving reports on things happening, and you're seeing, or he's saying something and you're saying contrary to what he's saying, it doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's saying or what he's saying is rubbish. Please mind what you say on air. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Welcome.
I am a good person.
Welcome.
Yes, please, people should allow us. We are trying our best. I'm a police officer. I don't know every time. Police. Are we going to? Kind of what is police?
I'm sorry. I had to laugh at that one. He said they should leave you alone.
I don't know. Every moment, police. Do we leave this job for these people to do it?
Well, you are like 1 in a million. You're like a drop of water in the sea. So now let me ask you, so far, based on the issue of security, do you think they're actually doing well, would you blame the people for what they say when it comes to policing? Because like the other caller said earlier, if you go along, like he reported just now, he alleged that if you're going along NTA Road, they are there collecting money, which is something we get to see very often. And it's not something like they do it in secrecy or so. But then, like I said earlier, you're like a drop in the ocean. And are you trying to say there are no bad eggs, or what people are saying are actually not true, or what they allege is not true?
All these things are mere allegations. We are all Nigerians. One of my friends told me that if you go to any country and if you look at the police officers, if they are good, they are not corrupt, you know that people in that country are not corrupt. So whatever you are seeing, that is what the country is. That's how the country are or is, wherever.
So you're now falling back to what you are just confirming what people are saying now. You are what?
It's a mere allegation. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much for calling in. The guy is tired of hearing people complain about police. He's a police officer and he knows he's doing his job. But well, we really commend those in the security agencies that are actually doing their jobs like they're supposed to. But the fact is that there are always bad eggs, and it's unfortunate that the bad eggs get to rub off on the good ones, and it makes people not pay attention to the positive side, and because they get to see the negative side. So kudos to all the security agencies, though. We believe they are doing their best, and we just hope to see more results. I want to believe that's what people are looking out for: results and a transformation. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello, Buchi. Good evening. This is Obinike from Ahoda West.
Obinike, how you doing? Go ahead.
Buchi, I want to speak on the transaction of the committee that Mr. Uke said about the financial transaction from the local government.
Okay.
I want to speak on because concerning my local government, Ahoda West.
What about Ahoda?
What's happening there? Because I heard Mr. Uke that he was surprised why the local government.
Because you did what?
That he was surprised why the local government are not carrying out projects. They are not doing anything in their local government.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Because as I'm talking to you now, in my local government, there's no project we can point hands. That this is what Honorable Hope Ikiko is doing.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There's no project we can point hands. But I believe that the committee they will come out with a report. In Ahoda West, we had a report in Ahoda West. In Ahoda West, we had a report that we can say that the Hope Ikiko administration of Hope Ikiko is they are not doing anything. People are not benefiting. During Awuri time, people benefited. And get people benefited Awuri. But why Hope Ikiko did not do anything, nothing, he's just hiding the money.
How did you know he's hiding the money?
He's hiding the money. I'm not from the local government. Me and he from the same clan. I'm from Ibuja clan. He is from Ibuja clan. Me, I'm from Ebras community. He is from Oboroboro. Me, I'm from Ebras community. From the same clan, the same local government. I should know.
You should
I'm
know.
not small boy. I'm not small picking.
Okay.
I should know what is going on in my local government.
Okay.
You understand? I want the committee to come up with the report because there's a report in our local government that the Hope Ikiko is not doing anything there. Hope Ikiko is not doing anything. Hope Ikiko is not doing anything. There are no projects.
Okay, noted.
My community should benefit. My community is among the community that should benefit in the local government. My community.
All right.
Community should benefit.
So you're in support of this a council being put up by the government to investigate?
Yes,
all right.
yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, regards to that, the governor regretted that despite the monthly allocation to the 23 local government council, there is no local government area that has executed project. And then he urged the committee that was set up to leave above board, saying that if he gets information that any local government chairman or godfather attempts to compromise the committee will be dissolved. So the deputy governor and chairman of the committee, that's Ipalibo Harry Banigo, she assured Governor Wike that the committee will deliver on schedule in line with its terms of reference. 95.1 FM. I'm sorry, I lost that one. Okay, I lost both of them. Please do also call back and let's hear from you, your reactions, your thoughts, and most importantly, your eyewitness reports. It's 08170000951 or 08109510951. Good evening.
Good evening, Buchi.
Good evening to you.
Yes, my name is Chima, calling from Port Harcourt.
Chima, you're welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I thank God. Yes, Buchi, the setting up of committee of the local government. I think that setting up a committee, the governor does not have that power. And I am urging the local government, if they will not play loyalty, if they go to court will definitely stop it.
Why do you think he doesn't have that power to check what is happening at the local government level?
Buchi,
I'm listening to you.
A Supreme Court judgment that have declared that the governor has no right. You understand? Does not have power. You understand? To interfere with local government. You understand? So that is why we are saying. I think there was a resolution that was made by the I don't know what allocation whatever committee that said that from June 1st of June that money of local government will be given to them directly. I think there and then when local government start receiving money, we start the governors trying to finger the money of local government. Yeah, and then we'll start investigating of local government.
So how does that take away the fact that he wants to know what they've been doing with their allocation so far, what developments they've been bringing to the local governments?
Hello, Buchi.
I'm listening.
Buchi, I told you before, there is a Supreme Court judgment that it is succeeding. That government is succeeding. You understand? So the governor has no right in local government. Are you hearing me? Local government, the governor has no right to interfere with local government or whatever. You understand me? So what we are saying, local government should be given autonomy. If they are giving autonomy, because right now there is a joint account between local government and state. So with local government, what they are giving back to is what they are using to pay salary. At the end of the day, they settle their cronies and the rest they put in their pocket. So we are not clear. As far as I'm concerned, to the best of my knowledge, local government is not existing in any of the states of the federation. You understand? So there and then, when this local government is not supported from state government, their investigation into their account can be commenced. Even though I know that from them they are living, they are using, they are hiding under this guise. You understand? So when they will be released from the state government, they are now on their own. Then we can talk about local government. Let me give my eyewitness report. Buchi, I'm still calling on the contractor, NBDC, Chris Oyinda, please, a contractor handling Farm Road that is leading from Ben Wesley to Larite Road, or that way the street, that's what they call that street. The contractor has decided to start line road that was measured among the road that was awarded to him. I don't know his mind, I cannot read his mind, but I am still begging that the NDDC should come investigate that contractor, because the road, the Sacred Drive, was measured among the road that was going to be constructed and was awarded to him. So I don't know why he has now left that road and he has now focused on every other side. I don't know his plan. I'm not trying to preempt him, but what I'm saying, please, the contractor or NDDC, you have to investigate this contractor handling that road. Until today, we are yet to know the name of the contractor constructing that road. He never brings out his signboard, and it's a amount to criminality. If a contractor is constructing road, we are not seeing a signboard. How do we hold the contractor accountable? How do we know his office? How do we know his address? I think it's criminality. I want to call on NDDC, please. Sacred Flame Drive was major among the streets in Farm Road that was to be constructed. As I'm talking to you, the contractor has abandoned that road. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Chima. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, this is Baba for the masses calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, Baba for the masses, go ahead.
Yeah, let me talk about what I experienced in rulemaking.
Okay, when was that?
Just within the period that they banned Keke. And rulemaking is part of Obiabo local government, and not even only rulemaking. 15 was 15 in Obiabo local government. Alakaya is still part of Obiabo. Shoba is still part of Obiabo. I wonder why the local government chairman will ban Keke and the Okada riders are still using the road up till the midnight till the next day. I don't know the reason. Okay. I'm telling you that they banned Keke while the Okada riders are
bikes
still
are still riding.
Yeah, being the bike, they are still making use of the road up till the midnight. I see no reason why. And I know that a long time ago, the past administration banned Keke Okada riders in Obiabo entirely. But as I'm telling you now, Okada has taken over Choba housing. Because the reason of banning Okada is because of insecurity in the land. Most of these boys use this Okada as easy way, shortcut to operate. And that is the essence of banning Keke recently. But as I'm telling you, they use Okada in Rumek in the community, they use Okada in Lakaya, likewise in Choba.
So your concern now is if they are banning Keke, why don't they ban Okada riders by that time as well?
Yes, of course, they're supposed to ban the Okada. In fact, they operate up to your Obliquere. Sometimes you go to Obliquere, you see people start in Okada. In fact, it's a security threat to my kind of person. Then also, since this incident happened in Rumaking that they beheaded the businessman called Chima in Rumaking, are you aware there is no presence of security in the Rumaking community? And there is a threat, a threat to the community. You don't see security presence in that community, not police, not any other uniform people in that community, including the school road where this the scene of this crime take place. No security. You cannot witness And since that day up to now, no police officers have visited that place up to now. Neither to patrol the area. It's unfair. It's not good. So I think the local government should do something, and the local government chairman also, please, should do something over it. Thank you. I remain Baba for the masses.
Baba, thank you very much for calling in. 95.1 FM. Oh dear, sorry we lost that one, but you could do all to call back. All right, we just might not be able to take some your text messages today as well. Apologies for that, but you could reach us via the phone lines, and let's hear directly from you. Good evening. Hello.
Is that Ibuchi?
Yes, it is. Good evening.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
My name is Bernard Elemoha.
Bernard, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm calling from Idrissa.
All right, go ahead.
I want to complain concerning my place. Is too. We are in Emoha local government.
Okay.
So, since government is doing projects, there is no project that is being standard that they have finished in Itu community. I don't know if Itu community is not recognized in the local government or in the state government. Itu community is part of River State. Look at the school that is being built. Nothing inside. No chair. Nothing. And the children are now going to the next, after 2 communities, to go and school. They will trek. Even the primary school that have been there, everything is being useless. We are no longer remembered. Okay, that is our part. Years ago, NDDC came and promised the community of Boho, many places, and the road. Till now, how many years now, nothing was done. Nothing from the local government. Nothing from the state government. Please, the 2 community is part of River State. It's in the Emoha local government. They should remember us. Please, I want the present governor to help us. He's a good governor. We want somebody like that. Let him help us as he do it to other communities. Thank you very much. My name is Bernard.
All right, Bernard, thank you very much. Would want to believe that they are listening, and we hope they assist like you just requested. 95.1 FM, good evening. I lost your call. We have less than 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Today has been a very wonderful day. We can't complain. But let's hear what's been happening with you. 95.1 FM, good evening. Good evening. Tijana, welcome. Long time.
How is your family?
My family are good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Happy to hear your voice this evening again.
All right, same here. Go ahead.
So, anyway, you know what, I've been shouting. I thank God day before yesterday. I don't know, where I had the news about 3 or 4 days ago now that Eneka people are trying to channel their flood to Elos River. I don't know that you are aware.
Okay.
So and the Elos secretary of the Palace of Elos community now react to it and telling them that where are you channeling your own water to? You want to channel water from Eneka to Elos River. When we have been shouting for government to come and discongest the canal, and up to now nothing has been done. I said me, when I was talking to him, my credit went off. I said I was coming from slaughter. I saw many people were standing on the front of local government. I have to clear. When I clear, it was because every day fall. Not the small thing, madam. The whole council were flooded. People were even stealing water out of the council. Okay, now, if they channel their own water from Eneka to Elos River, they want to chase us away now. We are even crying.
Has it been reported to the council? Has it been reported to the council?
Yeah, but I think the council, like a lot of people now, they will not, the Eneka people should not try it. They have reacted on media against them. And if they want to channel their water to Edo's River, they should come to the canal, to the Edo's the river and see how the condition is. And then even now the water is not moving because the whole grass and everything have blocked the channel. So what I want to tell the chairman there, the non-indigenous chairman, who is the Yoruba Babatunde, they should come down to the Edo's canal. And see the condition of the canal before the channel. We are suffering here for canal. We have been calling. Our government will come and pay attention to us in no way. So let me also use this opportunity to congratulate our brother Chris Oirinda because he is the one trying to see how to discongest the canal in the Onara Delta.
Okay.
Let you remember Libolo and the Rubakolos and the Lows. We need one boogie. Thank you.
All right. Tijana, thank you very much. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more call before we wrap up the program. It's been 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. This is Mr. calling from Liverpool School Road.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yes. My contribution is this. I want to call the River State government, the security men, the commissioner of police, please. Here we are staying here in school road here, please. Let them mobilize security men to come and explore this place because we are living with fear in this place. Please, I'm begging the name of God. Let them mobilize security men. Even if they don't have any place to stay, our family people, remote people, we bring a empty land, we give them. We give them where we discover to secure this place. Packing people, do make sure that they conquer this place because this place is, we are living under fear. Please, that is my contribution.
Where did you say is the place again?
Remaking school road here, school road.
Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, that would be the last for today. We have to go. It's been great hearing from you and talking with you. Any eyewitness report? Okay. Well, I thought Neo had an eyewitness report for us, but no. Well, it's been a great talking with you on Area Talk. Thank you very much for doing Area Talk with me. And we had Obin Obo Gidi. He's the state focal point here in River State for IAGA Africa. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Keep it locked down to Today 95.1 FM. Good evening.
It's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world. We've got you covered on air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good evening. Here's the news update at 8 on Today 95.1 FM. I am Kala Daku Batsubo. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has said President Muhammadu Buhari's resort to blame game in his media interview has further confirmed that the last 4 years of his administration smacks of failure and incompetence. The PDP also indicted President Buhari for not using his orchestrated interview to give account for the trillions of naira spent under his watch in the last 4 years. The position of the PDP is contained in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Logbodiyan, who also observed that President Buhari's attack on the National Assembly and its leadership further confirms his disdain for constitutional democracy, rule of law, and the principle of separation of powers as entrenched in Nigeria's constitution. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi has lashed out at the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Peter Obi, for saying that he, Amechi, is not politically relevant to discuss whether Igbos should have the presidency in 2023 or not. Amechi, who spoke on the sidelines at an interactive forum of maritime stakeholders in Lagos, said The former Anambra State governor does not have the credibility to speak on the matter because he could not win the presidential election. He also said right from when he became Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly till date, his name has been in the front burner of national politics far more than Peter Obi. Amechi said that for the Igbos to get the presidency in 2023, they must be part of national politics. The Minister of Transportation insisted that there is need for the Southeast to be part of national politics, stressing that if the Igbos are not part of national politics, they cannot be president. Vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Peter Obi, had during his visit to Rivers State lambasted Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi for saying the Igbos have no chance of succeeding President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has inaugurated a committee to investigate the audit and the financial transactions of the 23 local government councils from May 28 to May 29. Governor Wike said the committee is not aimed at removing any council chairman or official, but targeted at improving probity and accountability in the 23 local government councils of the state. The governor regretted that despite the monthly allocations to the 23 local government councils, there is no local government area that has executed projects.
We're not trying to move any local government official, but we want to know how they are spent or how they are spending the funds that are being given to them for the federation account. One good thing is that since I became governor, I've never been involved in interfering in local government accounts. But I found out that there's no local government you go to and you see any single project. I was the local government chairman. I've invited the governor, Dr. Peter Otleden, to come and commission projects. I don't think any council chairman has even invited me to come and commission one project because there's none.
He urged the committee to leave above board, saying that if he gets information that any local government chairman or godfather attempts to compromise the committee will be dissolved.
I have that confidence that you'll be able to carry out your job very well without fear or favor. So I don't want to hear that one political father or godfather or one strong member of our party came begging you to help so local government council. So people must sit up and account for the funds that given to them. We have only 3 weeks. So it's a taxing job to do this job and submit your report.
Deputy Governor and Chairman of the committee, Palibo Aribanigo, assured Governor Wike that the committee will deliver on schedule in line with its terms of reference.
I want to sincerely thank you for the confidence that you have reposed in us in assigning us to do this very, very, very important assignment, which I know how much it touches your heart. I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve in this manner. And so, Your Excellency, on this committee, we want to assure you that we are committed. We are committed because we know that this assignment will do a lot to improve what services our people have been getting at the local government.
Our correspondent reports that the committee has 3 weeks to submit its report. Troops of the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army says it has intensified coordinated anti-illegal oil bunkering and sea piracy operations within the division's area of responsibility, thereby tightening the noose on economic sabotage and sea pirates. The Army stated that during the operations of its troops around local government areas in Delta and Bayelsa states, as well as out the west in River State, troops made achievements. Acting Director of Army Public Relations, Colonel Sage Musa, in a statement obtained by our news desk, says 10 suspects were arrested, while 2 motorcycles and 10 mobile phones were recovered in the course of the operation in Bayelsa State. Colonel Musa added that a total of 35 sting operations were conducted during the period under review, in which 65 illegal oil refineries were located and destroyed in Delta State, in addition to 150 cellophane bags, 120 drums, and 15 Cotonou boats containing illegally acquired products. The Nigerian Army also said troops patrolled the entire Rivers State, including Abonima Wharf, Total Elf, Transamadi Layout, East-West Road, Alu, Mbodo, Marine Bays, Abloma, and Makoba in Obiakpo local government area, among others, where criminals and saboteurs were denied freedom of action with a boost to Nigeria's economic fortunes. In commemoration of World Menstrual Hygiene Day, parents have been urged to always educate their children on how to take care of the sensitive organs of their body. This time, it is coming from the River State Branch Young Doctors Forum of Medical Women Association of Nigeria. Coordinator of the group, Boma George, told correspondent Freda Alariji that most teenage girls fall victims of early pregnancy due to lack of care and counsel from parents.
My advice, like you told them to most to parents, is come out plainly and tell your children, use the terms. This is puberty, your breast is getting seedy, is changing. As a boy, your voice has changed. You start getting hair on your private parts, unkept, or we don't end up smelling, because the menstrual flow sometimes can cause body odor and some other kind of things, and you don't get infection. So that's the whole essence. Third world, we are a third world country, yes, and most people truthfully do not have access to pads. They cannot afford pads every month. So we move shy away from that truth in our society. So whatever means you're using, but we told them, tissue paper is not really advisable. But you can use pieces of napkin, pieces of cloth, but then make sure you change your pads, whatever you're using, either the clothing or the pad, change it at least 2 or 3 times a day.
Our correspondent reports that Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated annually on May 28, and it is aimed at creating awareness on the importance of good menstrual hygiene. This year's theme for World Menstrual Hygiene Day is "It is time for action." On the foreign scene, the UN General Assembly has declared August 22 as International Day commemorating the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief. The UN decision followed the adoption of draft resolution tabled by Poland with support from several other countries. The supporting states include a core group consisting of Brazil, Canada, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Nigeria, Pakistan, and the United States. And that's what we have for you in our bulletin for 8 p.m. Thank you for listening. I am Kala Dako Batbo. Stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM. The World Today is up next.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Good evening, this is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, Voice of the People, and it is time again for a rundown of the foreign news stories that made the headlines on the world today. In our package tonight, war crimes being committed, says Human Rights Watch. Child among 3 dead in Kawasaki stabbing. Man dies on plane after swallowing 246 packets of cocaine. Australian jailed for UK backpackers kidnap and rape ordeal. I am Kala Dakaru Batwo. And now we start with Egypt, where human rights campaigners have said Egyptian forces and militants in the Sinai might both be responsible for crimes against humanity. Human Rights Watch HRW accuses the government of carrying out enforced disappearances, killings, torture, and other illegal acts. It says militants who the government is fighting have kidnapped, tortured, and murdered hundreds of Sinai residents. The two sides have long been battling in the northern part of the peninsula. According to the HRW reports, adults and children as young as 12 have been detained and held in secret prisons, sometimes for months at a time. And now away from Africa to the rest of the world. A man with a knife has attacked a group of school children waiting for a bus in a Japanese city near Tokyo. At least 18 people were injured on a residential street in Kawasaki. Two of them, a 12-year-old girl and a 39-year-old man, are dead. The suspect was holding knives in both hands as he attacked the victims, 16 of whom were schoolgirls. Local media outlets say the 39-year-old victim is believed to be the parent of one of the children. A suspect, a man in his 50s, stabbed himself in the neck after his rampage and later died in hospital. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has condemned the attack. A Japanese man has died on board a flight from Mexico City to Tokyo with 246 packets of cocaine in his stomach, measuring 1 by 2.5 centimeters each. Identified only as Udo N., the 42-year-old passenger flew from Bogota, Colombia to the Mexican capital, where he transferred to a flight to Narita Airport, Tokyo. An autopsy revealed that Udo died from a cerebral edema caused by an overdose. An Australian man who raped a British backpacker during a month-long kidnapping ordeal in outback Queensland has been jailed for 10 years. Marcus Alien Keith Martin, who is 25 years old, had pleaded guilty to charges of rape and deprivation of liberty. He held Alicia Greer, then 22, hostage during a road trip in 2017, during which she was beaten and had a gun held to her head. Greer from Liverpool was rescued after police pulled over their 4x4. Greer's injuries included facial fractures, bruising, abrasions to her neck and cuts to her body, as well as psychological harm. Martin's lawyer said his client had been taking drugs at the time, making him paranoid and psychotic. According to a new report, North Koreans face a daily struggle to make ends meet due to a vicious cycle of deprivation, corruption, and repression. The United Nations Human Rights Report also accuses Kim Jong-un's government of economic mismanagement, leaving its people fighting to get the basics. North Korea has rejected the report as being politically motivated for sinister purposes, but the report notes the military still receives priority funding over ensuring people have enough. The UN mission in Kosovo has expressed great concern after 2 of its members were held in a police raid on suspected organized crime gangs. It said any harm to its staff would have serious diplomatic consequences. The 2 members were detained on Tuesday in northern Kosovo, an area with mainly ethnic Serbian inhabitants. More than 20 people were arrested during the police raid targeting suspected smugglers. A man has been fined 15,000 Canadian dollars for trying to smuggle thousands of leeches in his carry-on luggage on the flight from Russia to Canada. Some 4,788 wildlife leeches were found in a large reusable grocery bag. The discovery was made after a dog working with border agents smelled the leeches. Tony Blair's former spin doctor says he has been expelled from the Labour Party after voting for the Liberal Democrats in the European elections. Alastair Campbell, a lead campaigner for another Brexit referendum, said he was sad and disappointed. Shadow Minister Dawn Butler said members who admitted voting for another party were automatically excluded. Amnesty loses 5 bosses after report on toxic workplace. Now, Amnesty International is to lose most of its senior leadership team after a report said it had a toxic workplace. The Human Rights Organization Secretary General Kumi Naido has ordered an independent review after 2 employees killed themselves last year. In the review, one staff member described Amnesty as having a toxic culture of secrecy and mistrust. Amnesty said the senior leadership team accepted responsibility and all 7 had offered to resign. 5 of the 7 senior leaders, based mainly in London and Geneva, are now believed to have left or are in the process of leaving the organization. Many staff gave specific examples of experiencing or witnessing bullying by managers. And Now, a summary of foreign news stories that made the headlines. War crimes have been committed, says Human Rights Watch. Child among 3 dead in Kawasaki stabbing. Man dies on a plane after swallowing 246 packets of cocaine. And in Australia, Australian jailed for UK backpackers kidnap and rape ordeal. That concludes tonight's edition of The World Today, as produced by Funaya Obemendukwe of the News Department. Till same time tomorrow, do have yourself a lovely evening. I am Kala Dakaru Batbo, and keep listening to Today 95.1 FM.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
And
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Are you in search of a place to do all your audio recordings? From jingle, documentaries, church messages, and lots more.
Are you in search of a platform to give your business maximum exposure? Look no further. Come advertise with Today FM. With our unbeatable reach, we'll give your business the boost it so dearly needs. Visit us now at number 1 Today FM Drive off East West Road, Rumekini, Port Harcourt. Whatever the business is, we'll give it a voice.
Are you in search of a place to do all your audio recordings? From jingle, documentaries, church messages, and lots more.
Are you in search of a platform to give your business maximum exposure? Look no further. Come advertise with Today FM. With our unbeatable reach, we'll give your business the boost it so dearly needs. Visit us now at number 1 Today FM Drive off East West Road, Rumekini, Port Harcourt. Whatever the business is, we'll give it a voice.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
To give a speech or have a meeting where somebody doesn't ask me the millennial question.
What's the millennial question?
Apparently, millennials as a generation, which is a group of people who were born approximately 1984 and after, are tough to manage. And they're accused of being entitled and narcissistic, and self-interested, unfocused, lazy. But entitled is the big one. And because they confound leadership so much, what's happening is leaders are asking the millennials, what do you want? And millennials are saying, we want to work in a place with purpose, love that. We want to make an impact, whatever that means. We want free food and beanbags. And so somebody articulates some sort of purpose, there's lots of free food and there's beanbags, and yet for some reason, they're still not happy. And that's because they're missing, there's a missing piece. What I've learned is that I can break it down into 4 pieces, right? There are four things, 4 characteristics. One is parenting, the other one is technology, the third is impatience, and the fourth is environment. The generation that we call the millennials, too many of them grew up subject to, not my words, failed parenting strategies. Where, for example, they were told that they were special all the time. They were told that they could have anything they want in life, just because they want it. Some of them got into honors classes, not because they deserved it, but because their parents complained. And some of them got A's, not because they earned them, but because the teachers didn't want to deal with the parents. Some kids got participation medals. You got a medal for coming in last, right? Which the science we know is pretty clear, which is it devalues the medal and the reward for those who actually work hard, and it actually makes the person who comes in last feel embarrassed because they know they didn't deserve it, so it actually makes them feel worse, right? So you take this group of people, and they graduate school, and they get a job, and they're thrust into the real world, and in an instant, they find out they're not special, their moms can't get them a promotion, that you get nothing for coming in last, and by the way, you can't just have it because you want it. And in an instant, their entire self-image is shattered. And so you have an entire generation that's growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations. The other problem, to compound it, is we're growing up in a Facebook, Instagram world. In other words, we're good at putting filters on things. We're good at showing people that life is amazing even though I'm depressed. And so everybody sounds tough, and everybody sounds like they got it all figured out. And the reality is there's very little toughness, and most people don't have it figured out. And so when the more senior people say, well, what should we do? They sound like, this is what you gotta do. And they have no clue, right? So you have an entire generation growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations, right? Through no fault of their own, right? They were dealt a bad hand. Now let's add in technology. We know that engagement with social media and our cell phones releases a chemical called dopamine. That's why when you get a text, it feels good, right? So we've all had it where you're feeling a little bit down or feeling a bit lonely, and so you send out 10 texts to 10 friends, hi, 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 because it feels good when you get a response. It's why we count the likes, it's why we go back 10 times to see if my Instagram is growing slower, did I do something wrong? Do they not like me anymore, right? The trauma for young kids to be unfriended, right? Because we know when you get it, you get a hit of dopamine, which feels good. It's why we like it, it's why we keep going back to it. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. In other words, it's highly, highly addictive, right? We have age restrictions on smoking, gambling, and alcohol, and we have no age restrictions on social media and cell phones, which is the equivalent of opening up the liquor cabinet and saying to our teenagers, hey, by the way, this adolescence thing, if it gets you down. But that's basically what's happening. That's basically what's happening, right? That's basically what happened. You have an entire generation that has access to an addictive, numbing chemical called dopamine through social media and cell phones as they're going through the high stress of adolescence. Why is this important? Almost every alcoholic discovered alcohol when they were teenagers. When we're very, very young, the only approval we need is the approval of our parents. And as we go through adolescence, we make this transition where we now need the approval of our peers. Very frustrating for our parents, very important for us. It allows us to acculturate outside of our immediate families into the broader tribe, right? It's a highly, highly stressful and anxious period of our lives, and we're supposed to learn to rely on our friends. Some people, quite by accident, discover alcohol and numbing effects of dopamine to help them cope with the stresses and anxieties of adolescence. Unfortunately, that becomes hardwired in their brains, and for the rest of their lives, when they suffer significant stress, they will not turn to a person, they will turn to the bottle. Social stress, financial stress, career stress, that's pretty much the primary reasons why an alcoholic drinks, right? What's happening is because we're allowing unfettered access to these dopamine-producing devices and media, basically it's becoming hardwired, and what we're seeing is as they grow older, too many kids don't know how to form deep, meaningful relationships. Their words, not mine. They will admit that many of their friendships are superficial. They will admit that their friends, that they don't count on their friends, they don't rely on their friends, they have fun with their friends, but they also know that their friends will cancel on them if something better comes along. Deep, meaningful relationships are not there because they never practice the skill set, and worse, they don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So when significant stress starts to show up in their lives, they're not turning to a person, they're turning to a device, they're turning to social media, they're turning to these things which offer temporary relief. We know, the science is clear, we know that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than people who spend less time on Facebook. These things balanced. Alcohol is not bad, too much alcohol is bad. Gambling is fun, too much gambling is dangerous. There's nothing wrong with social media and cell phones. It's the imbalance. If you're sitting at dinner with your friends and you're texting somebody who's not there, that's a problem. That's an addiction. If you're sitting in a meeting with people you're supposed to be listening to and speaking, and you put your phone on the table, face up or face down, I don't care, that sends a subconscious message to the room that you're just not that important to me right now, right? That's what happens. And the fact that you cannot put it away is because you are addicted, right? If you wake up and you check your phone before you say good morning to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse, you have an addiction. And like all addiction, in time, it'll destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse. So you have a generation growing up with lower self-esteem that doesn't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. Now you add in the sense of impatience. They've grown up in a world of instant gratification. You want to buy something, you go on Amazon, it arrives the next day. You want to watch a movie? Log on and watch a movie. You don't check movie times. You want to watch a TV show? Binge. You don't even have to wait week to week to week, right? I know people who skip seasons just so they can binge at the end of the season, right? Instant gratification. You want to go on a date? You don't even have to learn how to be like, hey. You don't even have to learn and practice that skill. You don't have to be the uncomfortable one who says yes when you mean no and says no when you mean no, but yes when you don't have to swipe right. Bang, I'm a stud. Right? You don't have to learn the social coping mechanisms. Everything you want, you can have instantaneously. Everything you want, instant gratification. Except job satisfaction and strength of relationships, there ain't no app for that. They are slow, meandering, uncomfortable, messy processes. And so I keep meeting these wonderful, fantastic, idealistic, hardworking, smart kids. They just graduated school. They're in their entry-level job. I sit down with them and I go, how's it going? They go, I think I'm gonna quit. I'm like, why? They're like, I'm not making an impact. I'm like, you've been here 8 months. You know? It's as if they're standing at the foot of a mountain and they have this abstract concept called impact that they want to have in the world, which is the summit. What they don't see is the mountain. I don't care if you go up the mountain quickly or slowly, but there's still a mountain. And so what this young generation needs to learn is patience. That some things that really, really matter, like love, or job fulfillment, joy, love of life, self-confidence, a skill set, any of these things, all of these things take time. Sometimes you can expedite pieces of it, but the overall journey is arduous and long and difficult. And if you don't ask for help and learn that skill set, you will fall off the mountain, or you will, the worst case scenario, and we're already seeing it, the worst case scenario is we're seeing an increase in suicide rates, we're seeing an increase in this generation, we're seeing an increase in accidental deaths due to drug overdoses, we're seeing more and more kids drop out of school or take leaves of absence due to depression. Unheard of. These are all, this is really bad. The best case scenario, those are all bad cases, right? The best case scenario is you'll have an entire population growing up and going through life and just never really finding joy. They'll never really find deep fulfillment in work or in life. They'll just waft through life and it'll be just, it's fine. How's your job? It's fine, the same as yesterday. How's your relationship? It's fine. Like that's the best case scenario, which leads me to the fourth point, which is environment, which is we're taking this amazing group of young, fantastic kids who were just dealt a bad hand. It's no fault of their own. And we put them in corporate environments that care more about the numbers than they do about the kids. They care more about the short-term gains than the long-term life of this young human being. We care more about the year than the lifetime, right? And so we are putting them in corporate environments that aren't helping them build their confidence, that aren't helping them learn the skills of cooperation, that aren't helping them overcome the challenges of a digital world and finding more balance, that isn't helping them overcome the need to have instant gratification and teach them the joys and impact and the fulfillment you get from working hard on something for a long time that cannot be done in a month or even in a year. And so we're thrusting to them in corporate environments, and the worst part about it is they think it's them. They blame themselves. They think it's them who can't deal. And so it makes it all worse. It's not. I'm here to tell them it's not them. It's the corporations, it's the corporate environments, it's the total lack of good leadership in our world today that is making them feel the way they do. They were dealt a bad hand, and I hate to say it, but it's the company's responsibility. Sucks to be you, like we have no choice, right? This is what we got, and I wish that society and their parents did a better job. They didn't. So we're getting them in our companies, and we now have to pick up the slack. We have to work extra hard to figure out the ways that we build their confidence. We have to work extra hard to find ways to teach them the social skills that they're missing out on. There should be no cell phones in conference rooms. None. Zero. And I don't mean the kind of like sitting outside waiting to text. I mean like when you're sitting and waiting for a meeting to start, this is what we all do. We all sit here and wait for the meeting to start. Meeting starting? Okay. And we start the meeting. No, that's not how relationships are formed. Remember we talked about it's the little things? Relationships are formed this way. We're waiting for a meeting to start and we go, how's your dad? I heard he was in the hospital. Oh, he's really good. Thanks for asking. He's actually at home now. Oh, I'm really glad. It was really amazing. I know, it was really scary for him. That's how you form relationships. Hey, did you ever get that report done? Oh my God, no, I didn't. I'll help you out. Can I help you out with that? Really? That's how trust forms. Trust doesn't form at an event in a day. Even bad times don't form trust immediately. It's the slow, steady consistency. And we have to create mechanisms where we allow for those little innocuous interactions to happen. But when we allow cell phones in conference rooms, we just, okay, have the meeting. And then my favorite is like when there's a cell phone there and you go like this, you go. It rings and you go. I'm not gonna answer that. Like, Mr. Magnanimous, you know? When you're out for dinner with your friends, like I do this with my friends. When we're going out for dinner and we're leaving together, we'll leave our cell phones at home. Who are we calling? Maybe one of us will bring the phone in case we need to call an Uber or take a picture of our meal.
That was saying, come on.
I'm an idealist, but I'm not insane. You know?
At a heathen.
I mean, it looked really good. We'll take one phone. And so it's like an alcoholic. The reason you take the alcohol out of the house is because we cannot trust our willpower. We're just not strong enough. But when you remove the temptation, it actually makes it a lot easier. And so when you just say, don't check your phone, people literally will go like this. And somebody will go to the bathroom, and what's the first thing we do? Because I wouldn't want to look around the restaurant for a minute and a half. But if you don't have the phone, you just kind of enjoy the world. And that's where ideas happen. The constant engagement is not where you have innovation and ideas. Ideas happen when our minds wander and we go, and you see something, I bet they could do that. That's called innovation, right? But we're taking away all those little moments, right? You should not, and none of us should charge our phones by our beds. We should be charging our phones in the living rooms, right? Remove the temptation. You wake up in the middle of the night because you can't sleep, you won't check your phone, which makes it worse. But if it's in the living room, it's relaxed, it's fine. But it's my alarm clock. Buy an alarm clock. They cost $8, right? I'll buy you an alarm. But the point is we now in industry, whether we like it or not, we don't get a choice. We now have a responsibility to make up the shortfall and to help this amazing, idealistic, fantastic generation build their confidence, learn patience, learn the social skills, find a better balance between life and technology. Because, quite frankly, it's the right thing to do.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the world news on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
It's that time on radio. Let's take you into the life and times of men and women who inspire, role models who have shaped the world.
Ambrose Folorunsho Ali, born 22nd September 1929, died 22nd September 1989. Ambrose Folorunsho Ali was a Nigerian medical professor who served as executive governor of the defunct Bendel State, now the states of Edo and Delta, between 1979 and 1989. Ambrose Ali was born in Idoani, Ondo State, on 22nd September 1929. In his childhood, he moved between Okaodo, Ekpoma, Owo, Efon-Alaye, Benin City, and Asaba, where he completed his secondary education in 1948. He attended the School of Agriculture, Ibadan, and the School of Medical Technology at Doyo Hospital, Ibadan, where he gained an MBBS. He served as a house officer at the Adeoyo Hospital from 1960 to 1961. He went to the United Kingdom for a postgraduate course in neuropathology at the University of London from 1961 to 1966, gaining a DC pathology degree. Later, he studied at the University of Birmingham from 1971 to 1972. He was a lecturer at the University of Ibadan from 1966 to 1969 and was senior lecturer at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria from 1969 to 1974. From 1974 to 1979, Ambrose Ali was professor of morbid anatomy and head of the Department of Pathology at the University of Benin, Benin City. Following his academic posts, he was elected the governor of Bendel State and later founded Bendel State University, now Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma. Many campuses in Ekpoma, Abraka, and Asaba were established during his tenure. However, with the creation of Delta State by the administration of General Babangida, the university became two universities, namely Delta State University, Abraka, and Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, posthumously named after him. Ambrose Ali was a member of the Constituent Assembly that drafted the 1978 Nigeria Constitution. He joined the Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN, and ran successfully as UPN candidate in the Bendel State governorship election of 1979. He brought massive development to Bendel State in different sectors, from the establishment of numerous post-primary and tertiary institutions and massive construction of roads and housing. His main thrust as governor was to increase educational opportunities. He established over 600 new secondary schools and abolished secondary school fees. Apart from the establishment of the university, he also established various colleges of education in Ekiadolo near Benin City, Warri, Ozoro, and Abo, and 3 polytechnics with a College of Agriculture and Fishery proposed for Agenabode. He also established 4 teachers' training colleges to supply staff to the new schools, as well as several other higher educational institutions. In 1981, he laid the foundation of the Bendel State University, which is now named the Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma. Other reforms included abolishing charges for services and drugs at state-owned hospitals and eliminating the flat rate tax. His administration carried out massive construction of roads to open up the rural areas. In the housing sector, he built low-cost housing estates in Ubowo, Ipoba Hill in Benin City, and Bendel Estates in Warri. As governor, he always wore sandals, joking that he was so busy working in government house that he never had time to buy shoes for himself. When Ambrose Ali left office in 1983, he retired to his family house. After the military government of Major General Muhammadu Buhari took power, he was sentenced to 100 years in prison by a military tribunal for allegedly misappropriating 983,000 naira in funds for a road project. He was later freed when the Asama of Benin, Chief Gabriel Ibenedion, paid a fine to the government. He finally got released from the prison after the fine amount of 1 million naira was remitted by Chief Ibenedion. After the release, he was hosted by Sir Chief Dr. Ezekiel A. Ainabe. Local Government Council Ekpoma honored Professor Ali by launching his statue. In order to pay respect and for the service rendered to the community, Dr. Ezekiel A. Ainabe erected a statue at the market square in Egware, Ekpoma. Shortly after being released from prison, Ambrose Folorunsho Ali died on his 60th birthday on 22nd September 1989 at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital in Lagos. Professor Ali sacrificed his life for the people of Nigeria.
Personality profile. Now you know.
Good morning, sir.
My pikin, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, sir.
You dey go school?
Yes, sir.
Make sure say you read.
Madam, please, can I have one small juice and 2 biscuits there? Please be fast. Okay, customer, pay no vex. I dey come, make her bring them.
Please buy me toy.
No, you're late. You're late already.
Plantain, buy plantain.
See as this small girl dey cross this busy road anyhow.
Sweet plantain.
So your mama no know say you too young to dey hawk?
Now one for mama. Oh, I beg come on for it. Make I cross road.
Made in China.
Oh, buy your plantain.
Leave the road.
The fact that you're not financially buoyant doesn't mean that you should abuse your child. Most times, these children don't have the capacity or knowledge to carry on these tasks. Education, they say, is an important aspect in a child's life. So do well not to take away that opportunity from them, as it will affect them later in the future. Remember that giving out your child for early marriage could also affect the child's life. So stop child trafficking. Avoid sending them out in the name of making money, because the children today are the leaders of tomorrow. Don't ruin their future with your ignorance. Say no today to child abuse. Say no today to child trafficking. Say no today to child marriage. This message is brought to you by Today95.1 FM.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this.
Hold on, Kata. No, don't say else. Just bring 5,000 now.
Only.
Make the Kata day. Make the code remain.
Yeah, they worry.
You were not aware you're a thief. Now that you know that your money is coming from a thief, do you not see why you're a thief?
All right, still talking about affairs of the federal government. We understand also that the federal government...
Welcome to today's edition of Beats and Pieces in your premium talk news.
That's where we're called the voice of the people. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Act.
Here we go.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Good afternoon and welcome to the world news on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Today 95.1 FM. Good
morning. My name is Ifeanyi. I'm calling you. Hello?
Yes, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
My name is William. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, William from Port Harcourt. Go ahead.
Talk radio.
You have the right to say no, right? All right.
I'm calling from Unipua.
Okay, thank you so much from Unagua.
We are the station that needs no introduction. Of course you know.